Hello everybody and welcome back to the 4th evaluation race for AOR. We are back here at Bahrain. Yesterday, if you tuned into this coverage, we were here at the Bahrain International Circuit for the 3rd evaluation race. We are here for the 4th one and the final one of this weekend. When I say weekend, I mean Friday to Monday. This will be the final one. I do believe there will be one more set of evaluation races this weekend. As of right now, I am again Atro Cavi or Alan Cavagnaro alongside PS Luton Rules or Nathan, and we are here again for the evaluation race. He's just tweeting out the link and everything, so we'll be set in just a minute. But qualifying is already down to 8.5 minutes. Sorry for being a little bit late. I was having a lot of technical issues trying to connect to the session. I finally got in within the last set of invites I got, which was very, very fortunate. I'm not sure when Nathan will be back, when he's done. I think he's back.
I'll be honest, right? I'm trying to see if I can tweet the stream from my phone, but I don't think that's going to work, so you might have to be on your own for a little bit longer, because I'm going to have to go to my laptop and tweet out the link from there, so yeah, I'll be another minute.
Okay, so what camera, who do you have the camera on? We can talk about them. You have it on the Mercedes, who's in 14, so we'll talk about him. We'll go back through the grid. It looks like Jathan goes for the fastest lap with 120, as Ali K goes for a 128.4 fastest lap. Trying to go through the grid to try and find 14th, because that's what the camera is on. And now it's on Alex. So the camera's on Alex. So we'll talk about Alex. So the Mercedes man, he's running in 6th place right now. That's what it says with 7.5 minutes remaining in qualifying. And he's actually now it says he's 4th. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure what it says on Alex's screen. But now it says he's in 3rd. Now he's in I'm so confused. But as he crosses the line, we will see what position it puts him in across the line. It puts him down at 6th place. It says he's 7 sec. I'm confused. I'm sorry. This is an aspect that the game still needs to be fixed. But for the meantime, Alex is on a flying lap right now after his. If you can look at the bottom right, you can see the fuel blinking red. It means he is almost out of fuel, and he is limited on how much time he has left out on that racetrack. And I'm hoping Nathan is done now.
Yes, I am done now. Just got back in, so what's the action at the moment? Has anything happened yet?
The qualifying glitch still happens, where it puts people in different positions that they're not.
Oh.
But yeah, I saw Ali K and Jathan go for fastest lap, so I think there'll be 2 serious threats in this Grand Prix. But right now it says TM David Greco's on pole. Yes, we have David Greco in the lobby, if people know who he is. He's a fantastic and very, very fast sim racer. So nice to have him in the lobby. We also have Ali K. Fantastic race. We have Alex again. Many fast drivers. Jay Thorne. So I mean, really the top 5. We have Nervotank in here as well. He competed in the Season 13 F1 tier. A lot of people I recognize, so that is good. A lot of people, a little bit of a homecoming, because I haven't seen these people in a long time, like Cheaperino or Pika Network. But then again, there is 6 minutes left in qualifying, and not much time for these drivers to set race time. So it looks like many drivers are entering the pits, done with their banker laps. They'll go out for one final run, which will be their main qualifying run. We only saw 2 positions change in qualifying, which was between Ali K and Jay Thorne, as I can see McLaren and Williams go out onto the track. Actually, it looks like both came in, but yeah, that's sort of another glitch. But right now we're on board with the 14th place car. He's into the pits, so a lot of people coming to the pits. Also Toro Rosso, the filling man. So I'm kind of curious when these drivers will go back out. I already see one car exiting the pits. I'm not exactly sure who that is, as the cameras don't really tell a huge story. It looks like that is going to be Sultan 30, who's going to exit the pits, and he will go out for one final run in this qualifying. So we asked this question yesterday, and we'll ask you again. How many people do you think will hold the pole position in the final minute of qualifying?
Oh, well, yesterday I think I said 5 different people, and
yes,
that was wildly over the top. I think we saw, was it two different people?
Yeah, 2.
So, I mean, I don't know. We've got a lot of quick drivers here. Maybe I'll stretch it to 3. Let's say there's 3 different people I reckon will hold, pole position come the final minute or so. Yeah, I'll go for 3. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go with 4, because one, I was thinking of 3, you took my answer. So we have a lot of fast people in this lobby, like David Greco, you have Alex, you have Jay Thorne, A lot of fast people, Ali K, Nervo Tank. I wouldn't say they're equal on pace, but a lot of people know who they are due to their speed. So obviously, I think it's going to be a really, really close fight compared to yesterday, because those are a lot of the guys that could or will be competing in the F1 tier. So obviously, seeing those guys in the race, it's going to be a very huge fight for the pole. As yesterday, I mean, we saw Jamie pull away with the win, but he only got pole by 0.05 of a second, which is half of a tenth. And a tenth is only 10% of a, a full second, which is really, really small to think about. So obviously, with these fast drivers, I think it's going to be even closer than 0.05 of a second as we come now to 4 minutes remaining in qualifying. And it looks like Sultan will be starting his lap. Actually, never mind, he's going to dive into the pits after not even completing a lap. So I'm not sure what he's doing, but looks like Philip is on pole on my screen. So the Dutchman right now in the first sector with 3 minutes remaining looks to be he's on top. Ali K's in second. Third is Alex. Fourth is Jaythorn. Fifth is Max Eagles. Sixth is Nervo Tank, and he is exiting the pits for his final run today in qualifying. Ninth will be James. It just skips from 6th to 9th. Beacon Network's in 12th. I'm surprised David Greco isn't out on the circuit. I think he is. I'm just blind. Actually, no, he's not on the circuit, so I'm not blind, so that's good news. But clock counts down to 3 minutes, and it looks like the pole position is still going to be Ali K. Actually, not Ali K. That's the last time I saw the notification go up. I never saw the thing that said Philip got the time. But it appears to be Ali K's third, Jaythorn's second, and still on pole is Philip in the Red Bull. So a little bit interesting to see, because I thought these drivers would be pushing like mad hell towards the end of this qualifying session, but with 3 minutes remaining, it's very, very quiet on the circuit.
Yeah, it certainly does. We seem to have got the, as it stands, the top few positional runners are out there on the circuit, and it just seems to drop down to kind of the people. Well, actually, I say that. I think we have got some more people coming out into the pits, and as we can see, Philip there, we just saw the notification, he's set the fastest lap, so that means that he should definitely be on pole position now, as I can see. But then again, I mean, as we can see now, the positional counter for Philip, it says he's in 16th, so we can't really truly judge the positional counter, but we saw anyway that the fastest lap notification came up for him. And just a reminder, at the previous evaluation race, while there was quite a spread in terms of times from first position to last position, first down to 11th place, I believe, was separated by only 1 second. So, assuming that's the case here, whereas we see Jay Thorne has just set the new fastest lap here in qualifying, says it's down in 7th, now 8th, but we'll take that with a pinch of salt. But assuming that's going to be the case here with a lot of quick drivers, then we could see again some incredibly close qualifying times, at the very least towards the top end of the field.
Yes, definitely, as qualifying peaks into its final minute now, as we reach down to 1:16, 1:15, it'll count down to its final minute. Many drivers will have the pressure on their shoulders to set an even faster lap with 1 minute remaining, and the question is if some can get by. It looks like Clay slowing down. Sauber in 12th place, and it says now 11th. He's pulling off to the side of the gravel trap. I think he's just trying to let everyone by, he wants to go for a money lap, go for the one lap that counts. Some of these drivers haven't even gone for laps yet, which is a little bit bizarre, but it stands to me that Jaythorn obviously has the fastest lap, and nobody else can come close to his time, really. I think it was 2 laps in a row where he was setting the fastest lap, and you didn't see guys like David Greco or Nervo Tank or Ali K or Alex, setting relatively close times. I know Ali K was. It looks like Matty D will retire with half of a minute remaining. Not sure who else will be trying to go for pole position. Jaythorn is slowing down. Looks like, yeah, he is slowing down, so even if someone beats his time, he will not have pole. But for the meantime, he's on pole, going through the grid. I don't see anyone else pushing. I see 14th place driver, the Polfing Mufia, I think that's his name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. He's in 14th, and he's going on a flying lap. He's on the back straight, headed to the final corner. As qualifying ticks out now, James retires. He's about to cross the line, and position number 14, it is now crossing the line. That will remain in the same position, so he did not improve. He either invalidated his lap or just had a bad lap in general. But I'm looking at other drivers, and I wouldn't say I am really, really surprised that, these drivers aren't really setting fast times compared to Jaythorn. I mean, a good pole position to have a motivation on his shoulders, but it looks like Ali K is on his final lap. He's pushing, goes wide a little bit, but he gains a lot of momentum back as he goes down the straight. DRS will open across the line. Will Ali K get it? He does, a 128.2. So he beats Jaythorn, I believe, by 2/10. And we will wait for others to cross the line. I think that would be it. So I think Nervotank is on the track. Yes, he is. He is slowing, so Nervotank is not going to set the fastest lap. Going through others, there's LSD High, goes across the line, does not set the fastest lap, so Ali K will be on the pole position so far as we wait for others to finish qualifying. And there's still some out on the racetrack with a minute and a half left, not of qualifying, but just a pure lap pace. But I'm sort of surprised not many people picked up the pole for the last minute. I mean, it was one person. Our guesses were way off.
Yeah, but I mean, that is it appears to be only one. I mean, we have got to assume that that's the case. We know that the qualifying positions are a little bit, well, difficult to interpret on this game. We assume that when it tells us that someone set a new fastest lap in qualifying, that is the case. But yeah, it seems to me that we just got a lot of drivers who have pretty much run out of fuel, going very slowly back into the pits, and I think that's all we're waiting for. I don't believe there's anyone out saying a lap. No, as far as I could tell, it's just Nervotank who's still out there, and he's he's ran out of fuel coming into the pits. So I assume it's him we're waiting for, and then we should see the full qualifying results.
Yeah, both Red Bulls ran out of fuel, and I think they should have just retired from the session, but holding up this time to go into the pits, I think he actually sped into the pits, believe it or not, even though I had a fuel. That's really interesting. So, questions. How do you think this race will be? Because yesterday we said, oh, these drivers aren't going to race each other. Next thing you know, there's lap 3, turn 1. There's a huge dive bomb in the hairpin. And a lot of these drivers getting upset over the race results, and they felt like they were, let's say, taken for granted out of a good position or in finishing results. And I'm a little bit curious on if we'll see the same thing today. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest, it's slightly difficult to predict what's going to happen in the race without actually seeing the qualifying results. They should be coming up any second now. So Nervotank's in 7th place on my screen, but we should see the full qualifying results in just a second. And there's Ali K, who has taken pole position just like we thought. Jaythorn's in 2nd, and they've got Alex in 3rd. Max Eagle's in 4th, and Nervotank down in 7th, as we already know. David Greco down in 8th place. Has there been any other major surprises?
Surprise, Greco went with the softs. I think he's obviously going for the one stop. But he's the only one, I believe, in the whole entire... No, there's also LSD High. But other than those two, everyone else is on the super softs. I mean, that says something with these drivers. I mean, and the gap between pole was actually 2/10, like we mentioned. Yesterday, it was, half of a tenth, which is 5/100ths of a second. So, very different. Actually, I think they're about to begin the formation lap, and hopefully we don't see the same glitch like... And I disconnected from the session.
Have you?
Yes, I have. So, you'll be calling the race start if I can't join back. But, luckily I do have another invite. So, yeah, handy. I think our race picks. I think Ali K will be able to hold off Jaythorn, obviously, because from the first social I commentated, which was a while ago, something I noticed is that when racing these two, let me join back in. Okay, I'm loading in the session if anyone is curious. So something I saw between these two is that Ali K was always better in the long runs. Right after, let's say, a safety car restart, Jaythorn would pull away. Later on in the Grand Prix, it would be Ali K who caught him up, and obviously with a single lap pace, it still looked like that Ali K was faster. Obviously right now, set a lap 2/10 faster. So I think Ali K is going to be the one to beat today. Like yesterday, the driver on pole will be the one to beat, and Ali K gets away, and I am back in the session, and I'm spectating, so hopefully I don't disconnect.
Hopefully so. I mean, we've had a few issues with connecting into the session, and being able to stay in the session, actually, more importantly. But, yes, obviously every driver now setting out on their formation lap. So we've still got Ali K in first, Jaythorn in second. It's actually Ferraris and Mercedes towards the front. Well, we have actually got a Sauber in in fifth place. And we got 2 people already disqualified.
Because they made contact on the formation lap.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, the point I was going to raise is that the cars, they are set on equal pace, definitely, despite the fact that we've got the Ferraris and Mercedes towards the front row. That's just a coincidence, really. That just seems to be the better drivers picking the better cars just by sheer coincidence. But we got Clay in the Sauber in 5th, and then we got the Haas drivers in 6th and 7th. So it's definitely on equal car performance.
Yes, definitely. Something I find really, really weird, because yesterday's Grand Prix, it was the Williams and Toro Rossos that held the front 2 rows. Today it's going to be the Silver Arrows and the Prancing Horses that will hold the front row today. So I find that a little curious, or a little, not just a little skeptic, because the same thing happened for the past 2 Grand Prix for the past 2 days. Again, I think we were talking about the formation lap and everything, and people getting disqualified. Many people getting disqualified. A little surprised me, because this is used to warm up your tires. It gives you a disadvantage once you make contact with someone, but if you're curious, if you make contact with someone, you do not get damaged. But we'll run down the grid order quickly with some stats. Ali K, F1 driver from Season 13. Second is Jay Thorne, another F1 driver. Third is Alex. I believe he's an F1 driver as well. Not exactly sure on that. 5th is Clay. I'm not exactly sure on that either. A lot of stuff I do and don't know. Looks like someone else, 2 other people disqualified right at the end of, it looked to be the formation lap. And going through the grid, there is the Haas driver in 6th disqualified. Again, I'm surprised how many people get disqualified on the formation lap.
I mean,
It looks like the Red Bull is
getting pushed along.
Oh, and they're ghosted cars too, which even surprises me. I wonder if he's gonna start like that in the Grand Prix.
Well, let's hope not. Hopefully, the race isn't as dirty as the formation lap was. It shouldn't be the case, and I think every driver has actually now lined up to take their starting position.
Yeah. Yes, we are ready and rolling, waiting for everyone to go, and hopefully Nervotank goes back into his position. Though I think that we are waiting for one last call. I think we're waiting for Nervotank, and this game isn't registering. If the lights don't go out, there may be a slight problem.
So is it Nervotank who appears to be...
The AI decided to not put Nervotank in his slot, and now they're like, okay, we're not going to start the race now. Every car is there and ready. It's just, we're not going to start this race until Nervotank is in his slot, and he doesn't have control of his car.
Yeah, well,
so,
yeah, he was meant to be...
That's 1.7 for you.
So he's meant to be in 7th, because there's an empty grid slot in 7th. And he's sitting in between 4th and 5th. He's basically in 4th place, but I think...
Yeah. This is really a coincidence, because this is update 1.7 they released, and he's starting in the 7th position. I
mean...
I think we would have rather done it on 1.6.
I mean, I don't know, but this, for me, this is... I literally downloaded the update, and this is the first thing I've done on the game since the 1.07 update has come out, and I don't know what the procedure is here. Oh, something's going on.
Hold on.
I don't know if it is actually loading into the race, or... it appears to be.
5 red lights. 5 red lights to fill in our screens. Lights out, and away we go. And surprised that they let Nervotank start 3 wide, as there's already a spin behind, and that's a Ferrari spinning, as Ali K goes defensive against Jay Thorne, pushing him to the inside. It's a triple lockup as they go through. Contact has been made. That is a chaotic start. I've never seen anything like it, and believe it or not, it's like real life, as McLaren Honda's really slow off the start, and the Mercedes are 1-2, as Ali K is trying to get by for 2nd place against Alex. And as he dives down to the inside, not sure what happened with that second Ferrari. Will catch back after that start. But now diving into sector number 1 between the S. It looks like around the outside, Matty D will be with the Haas driver, switching lanes to the inside. Contact is made, just enough to grab the position as they make contact as they get clean out of that. Wow, what a start that was.
We're still going on the battle between the Haas and the Renault. Actually, a slight corner cut there for the Haas, but I don't think he's got a brilliant exit out, and actually no, the Haas driver Nally has actually lost the position to Matty D. So nearly another collision between the 2 drivers there, but just a rundown of the race order. It's It's Jay Thorne, I believe, who's currently leading the Grand Prix. Yes, it's Jay Thorne who started in second, is now leading the Grand Prix. Ali K from pole position is now down into second position. Alex is in third, and your fourth place driver currently is Matty D in the Renault, who's, well, very recently overtaken the Haas driver, and we're about to complete the first lap. I really doubt we're going to see any overtakes at this early stage, bearing in mind, of course, that DRS still hasn't been activated. And actually, the Renault driver, the battle for fourth place, is really getting intense now, as we've got the Haas driver who's potentially going to go down the inside of the Renault. We haven't got the best camera angle, and unfortunately, I did not get the best camera angle, but, well, however it happened, unfortunately, I wasn't able to really properly see it, but the Haas driver has been able to re-overtake the Renault for fourth place, and, it is all going on behind, nearly having cars spinning out there, but I think a mostly clean series of corners there.
I wouldn't say clean. I would more likely say over-aggressive, but haven't crashed out as Nervotank dives into the inside for P6. The wheel-to-wheel off the corner, but loses the back end and backs out of it. That is... wow. I am beyond surprised as we're about to head to lap number 3. I'll be curious if the same thing happens like it did yesterday's race. We can take notes that these drivers will be over-aggressive in the beginning stages, trying to get the positions they deserve or they want. I'm really surprised. I'm going up the grid, and like we mentioned, Jay Thorne is very, very fantastic at race starts or safety car starts, like we mentioned in the beginning, and that is how he pulled off a fantastic start against Ali K and took the lead in this Grand Prix. However, I assume Ali K will catch him eventually, like we saw with Aresi and I believe it was Vitsy yesterday. They caught up to each other. They weren't able to pass each other, but it looks like Alex is still up to third. We look behind, probably battle still going on. We have this huge train from Clown behind. Jay Thorne fastest lap. DRS should be enabled this lap. And Nervotank is going to be on attack mode against Clay. Down the straight, going defensive is Clay to the inside. Around the outside goes Nervotank, and he's going to hold it around the outside. Contact is made to the inside. Nervotank makes that position stick. He's up to P6. Wow, I'm sort of surprised he hung on to that one. They did make contact through that corner. So, yeah, I'm really surprised that there was not been a crash yet. David Greco is in P8, and someone was asking about him. As he's right behind, he's witnessing this, so if something happens, he'll benefit and take over those two positions in front. But I'm really surprised as Clay runs wide, loses a lot of time to Greco, who is right now all over the rear wing of Clay. I'm looking back, and I don't see any other battles going on. James is in 12th. I'm just looking back, but there's a battle for the 13th position between the Toro Rosso and the McLaren Honda of Pregels. And diving down to the position, cutting him off through the corner. And, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of racing going on within these first couple of laps. Obviously, everyone trying to go for as many positions as possible. But I'm really surprised that we saw, obviously, Ali K lose the position and turn 1, lap 1. And a contact being made for the lead. It's just chaotic. What do you have for an opinion on this? Because I'm really surprised.
Well, I mean, to be honest, some of the initial incidents that we saw, obviously, were partly due to the fact that Nervotank started sort of in position 4.5. He's actually Nervotank's currently in 6th position, I believe. So he's done alright to have the race start. I believe the Ferrari driver that got caught up with him at the start is Max Eagles, who's actually now currently in 16th place. So, assuming that was the Ferrari driver that got caught up, which I'm pretty certain it was, Max Eagles, who's actually just got past the Toro Rosso driver up into 15th place, you have to say, and in fact, actually, there's a Williams driver who's off the circuit, so Max Eagles has taken another position. What has happened with that Williams driver, actually? That is... Actually, hang on, that's LSD High, who's in the Williams. Of course, no damage because the damage has actually been turned off for this particular evaluation race. But, yeah, I mean, this has certainly been a surprisingly dirty race. I mean, it's who knows what the repercussions could have been for the drivers if the damage was actually enabled. Obviously, it will be when the league starts properly, but in these evaluation races, looking at the drivers
connected from the session, it looks like.
Yeah.
Your mic quality is terrible now, but there is a position up for grabs. We'll do a little radio broadcasting now since you can't see. A battle for 10th. It is a 3-car train for this one. James is...
Hang on, I think I might be able to
Okay,
join
do you have
anyway,
an invite?
actually. I'm joining in. I mean, to be honest, this was always a worry. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
Hang on. Hang on. I think I'm getting back into the session. Has anything interesting happened since I've been away?
Well, as soon as you disconnected, a pass went up between James, but right now it actually looks like Nervo Tank did fall back, and he's trying to pass Matty D. But other than that, I mean, now there's a train for 5th place, with David Greco being the conductor, but other than that, not much.
Yeah, hang on, I'm in now. Right, I'm spectating Jay Thorne, who's still leading the Grand Prix. We've still got Ali K in second, and actually, the top two have opened up a slight gap on Alex in third, and I think we're going to see a similar situation to what we saw at the previous Grand Prix, which is the second a driver falls outside of DRS range, it gets very difficult for them to be able to keep up with the cars in front. We saw that with the two Toro Rosso drivers at the previous evaluation race. I mean, it's not to say that it's impossible to keep up, but certainly without the aid of DRS, it does suddenly become a lot more difficult, as Ali K is actually getting very close to Jay Thorne there. Jay Thorne goes defensive towards the first corner, but actually, no, I think for the time being, no, nothing has actually come out of that. So we've still got Jay Thorne leading, Ali K in second, and yeah, is anything else? Actually, Ali K swerving behind, heading towards the third corner, but no, still nothing is going to come of it. But Ali K certainly lining up a move, and oh, this is, yeah, Ali K certainly in a racy mood at the moment, but well, for the time being, just no way past Jay Thorne.
Yes, definitely. I saw this happening when you were gone as well, because like we mentioned before, Jathan gets two fantastic starts, but in the long run, it is Ali K, the person that you want to pick on for obviously the long runs. And now, after 6 laps, he's been able to catch up to Jathan, and he is ready to make a move on the Mercedes man. So lap 6 now, he'll probably make a move down the straight on lap number 7. We'll see if these two drivers try and go defensive, but lap number 6 out of 29, and these two are fiercely going for the lead. As I'm looking further back, I want to see how Greco has actually increased the gap, so he's not the conductor anymore, as this train is just completely split apart. I'm looking back with Nervo Tank and Matty D. There's a good gap, 10th. I mean, yeah, now, I mean, since you disconnected, nothing has been going on besides that battle between Ali K and Jay Thorne. But yeah, I'm really surprised that these drivers are keeping it very, very clean compared to yesterday's race. But something I'm also going to point out is that none of these drivers have made a pit stop yet. It's lap number 6. Obviously, when the race gets down to the final stages, these drivers will push everything they have. Obviously, imagine qualifying with your banker laps and then the actual laps that you're going to set. Obviously, those laps are going to be completely different towards the end. Those laps are going to be faster. It's sort of like this. The racing is going to get a lot more intense towards the end. I did see Ali K trying to put on a pass against I think it was Jay Thorne. Yes, it was Jay Thorne. But lap number 7 now, and he was not able to create the pass or have that happen. As you see now, 3rd place car, Alex is gaining back some time he lost, and the front two are going to keep on battling, and he needs to get by unless Alex will get into this battle. And I'm sort of surprised, because if I were Jay Thorne, I mean, I would just do my best to hold on, because if you keep on doing that, Alex will eventually gain, because not only are those two battling, they're slowing down because they're battling, and that'll allow Alex to catch back up. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering a bunch of stuff, I'm just tired right now, but obviously lap number 7, and I'm still surprised that Jathan is holding on. He's done a fantastic job so far, but it'll be a matter of time before he loses this lead.
Oh, certainly so. As we're coming towards the final corner, Ali K still directly behind Jay Thorne, but of course we're coming down the start-finish straight. Now DRS will be enabled, and for the past couple of laps, Ali K, he's lined up a move that's never been able to stick, but he's got DRS, which obviously Jay Thorne hasn't, and he's gaining. Is he actually going to be able to make a move towards the first corner? Looks like he's going to do it. In fact, he has done it, locked up both front wheels, and Ali K has retaken the lead for the time being, but he's now still side by side with Jay Thorne. Jay Thorne's going to have the inside line for the next corner. They're still side by side. Ali K just inching ahead at this point, and Ali K's had to leave some space for Jay Thorne there, and they're still side by side. Alex is getting extremely close now, but Ali K has been able to take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, qualified on pole position, and he's now taken the lead of the Grand Prix, and both Mercedes drivers are now incredibly close. So I don't know how Alex's pace is going to compare to Ali K's, but if Alex can get past Jay Thorne, incredibly quickly. Is Alex did lose quite a bit of time though. He's still got DRS, and we've got both Haas drivers on who aren't too far behind us. David Greco in 4th. Does that mean, because there was I believe a Sauber driver in 4th who must have pitted. I think it was Clay who, I think it was Clay who's pitted. He's now in 14th place on the soft tyres. So I believe he's pitted, and that does bring me on to an interesting point that David Greco, one of the 2 drivers to actually start on the soft tyres. Most other drivers start on the super soft tyres, and as we saw at the previous evaluation race, we saw lots of people start on super softs and then pit onto the mediums, a one-stop strategy all the way through. So I don't quite know what David Greco's strategy is going to be starting on the softs. I don't know if he's trying to have younger tyres towards the end of the race. He certainly can't do 2 soft stints. I don't know, but certainly David Greco, considering the fact he's on the soft tyres, his pace is incredibly good right now.
Yeah, so I'm actually really surprised because, like we mentioned earlier, he did start in P8. Now he's gained those 4 positions on a harder compound compared to everyone else in this Grand Prix that he's passed. So I'm really surprised he's keeping up the pace. Not only that, but also that he, like we mentioned, gained 4 spots. That he's going to have the advantage of only doing 2 stints from the most part. He may just pit later on, pit for either super softs or mediums. I mean, depends what David Greco can do. But if anyone doesn't know who David Greco is, we'll just give you a little intro on him. He was one of the people that tested the game before it came out, so that footage that you saw from maybe the Force India when it was raining at Belgium, or the Japan footage, he recorded that for Codemasters. So if anyone didn't know that, that's who David Greco is. And for the front runners, since this is on PSO's channel, not many people know who AOR is, or at least I'm hoping. Well, what
hang
happened?
on. Alex has spun right. I was wondering if that was lag, but Alex from 3rd place has spun, and he's now down to 6th position. So that means David Greco is now taking the final podium spot, but Alex on 3rd place, just spinning, going around the second to last corner there, and he's now down to 6th place. And in fact, he's not too far ahead of Matty D in 7th place.
As it looks like he's going to dive it down into the pits. Not sure what he's going to fit on for tires. Not sure what he's actually going to do. Looks like he'll put on the medium tires. So the pit on those white wall tires on lap 10 out of 29. Took notes from yesterday's race, and he's going to try and go for the one stop, knowing that these tires can go 20 laps. Also, like you said, damage is turned off. I'm hoping damage is turned off, because you said that. I'm not exactly sure if it's not exactly sure if that's true.
It
but since
should
damage
be
is turned
off.
off, you won't get a puncture, so you won't have to worry about that. But obviously these tires can make it to the end as he dives down to the inside off the exit of the pits against LSD High. And it looks like High got the position for 12th. 9 points position, but once everyone else pits, we'll see where he stands. However, down the straight he may make a late lunge, but it looks like High runs wide, and Alex will be trying to take the position back, but cannot. Going through the S, he is right behind the Williams driver on my screen. He is lagging a lot. Not
Yeah,
sure about
same.
you, but yeah, okay. He dives down to the inside, lock-up contact made. Looks like he pulled a Nico Rosberg, but grabs P12.
Yeah.
So right now he moved into the 12th position. There's a position for the taking for P10. The McLaren Honda driver staying ahead of the Toro Rosso. As he goes around the outside, locking. It's a double lockup. I'm looking at how many times these drivers lock up. If they're trying to go for, or just trying to impress the admins and AOR, locking up is not one thing you want to do. Not only is pace considered, but obviously, if you can handle the traction control, if you can handle lockups, and looks like some of these drivers, every single corner, they're locking up. I know when I do no assist, I lock up in every corner, but it's weird because usually at the end of the race, you can see a lot of skid marks on the circuit. But it looks like trying to stay and break out of the slipstream it looks like Kregel's in 8th place now, so he passed 2 cars that are pitting, and I assume they'll be putting on the medium tires. If you take a look back.
I should point out that both Ali K and J4 have actually pitted onto the medium tyres, so they've been able to rejoin out onto the circuit, so we should know the real gap between them and Alex, of course, who spun out earlier on. Trying to find Alex, and Alex is... I believe, what's that? That's 12 seconds behind, I believe, Alex is from the effective race runners Ali K and J Thorn. So that spin cost him 12 seconds, despite getting the undercuts, which we saw in the evaluation race. The undercuts was the only reason, or well, it's certainly a large part of the reason that was Aresi was able to take second place on Big C. And Alex, you know, maybe if he didn't spin out, he could have been able to gain some time, maybe even positions on Ali K and J Form. But as it stands, Alex is now down into 10th place. He'll gain a few positions. In fact, he's trying to get past the Toro Rosso driver. And in fact, the Toro Rosso driver has now spun. I don't know if there was contact there, but that is Puffing Muffin, who has spun out there, and he's now, well, he's losing a lot of positions, now down to 15th place. I'm not sure if there was contact there, but, certainly that's cost Puffing Muffin a lot of places there.
Yeah, something I was going to point out there. Drivers went side by side trying to pass the Toro Rosso drivers. Now there's a battle for 13th position between the Williams driver and Pika Network, as those are the two drivers that went side by side against the Toro Rosso who spun, and now they're going to go defensive, trying to go to the inside, trying to defend, as he's going to switch back, weaving down the straight. Looks like the Williams driver has DRS and the Force India does not. He may try some late braking, dives into the inside under a lock-up position. Now it looks like the Williams will have the outside, but Pika Network takes advantage, takes the position, but not yet. Williams driver goes to the inside. He takes back 13th, and he will easily have the position, as it looks like Pika Network dives into the inside, again ghosting. Not sure what's happening, but wow, I think that's another glitch we've seen today. I mean, we just keep pointing that out, put it on a little grocery list to do. But really surprised with what we've been seeing going on with these glitches. But believe it or not, Nervo Tank is back in 15th. So I'm a little surprised by that. He's obviously pitted. But as we look towards the front of the grid, I did see some more battles going on. Obviously, right now for 10th position, LSD High and James. Those two going at it, and it looks like Max Eagle is in 12th behind watching this. And right, like we mentioned, he qualified in the top 4 in qualifying. And so he does have the pace to compete to obviously get back in the points. But I want to catch back up and see how the front drivers are doing. As Greco goes for the fastest lap, as Ali K still hanging on to the lead. Greco is massively gaining on these two, and now this could be a 3-car battle for the race lead. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm just surprised, because David Greco, he's made the race incredibly difficult for himself, because he qualified down in 8th position, was it? Well, he qualified on the soft tyres anyway, and he's plainly got the pace because he's been able to catch up to the front runners. And it's not like he's done a different strategy. He might have come into the pits a couple of laps later, but he's still on the medium tyres. I think he's still doing effectively the same race strategy as everyone else. So just feel like that he's made the race much more difficult for himself by starting further on down the field. But I think it's certainly uncontested that that his race pace has been phenomenal, because he's caught up to J Thorn, he's caught up to Ali K, who is leading the Grand Prix. And in fact, the other Haas driver, that is Nally, who's in 4th place. He's not too far behind as well. He's on the soft tyres currently, so I'm not sure. He must have started on the super softs, because pretty much everyone did. So that means he's on super softs, then the softs, which means presumably he's going to be pitting again. I'll be extremely surprised if he doesn't, but yeah, certainly there's a three-way battle for the lead. Nally's a bit of an unknown quantity in 4th place, and then you got Clay in the Sauber, who's a bit of a way back. So certainly the top 3 certainly are kind of in a league of their own for the time being.
Yeah, definitely, as it looks like a position's up for grabs. Jathan and Ali K wheel to wheel for the lead, as Ali K gets it back, but he'll be under pressure from David Greco as he dives it down to the inside. The Swedish man is under attack, as now it looks like J Thorn is under pressure as he's going to try and go around the outside, but Greco has the inside, makes contact with J Thorn and takes 2nd place. Next position that Greco is looking for is the race lead in this Grand Prix. We're already halfway through this race, and Greco is making this look easy, making it look like it'd be on a video game, like it is. But anyway, Greco is just doing a fantastic job, and because of that, that allowed his teammate, it looks like Nolly, I think that's how you pronounce his name, because it starts with K-N, so Nolly back in 4th place, who is actually spectating all of this, and now Greco will have DRS against Ali K. So if I were Ali K, I would drive as defensive as you've ever been. I mean, if this was a league race, I counted for points, but again, you're under pressure from one of the fastest drivers on this game, on the PS4 platform. And David Greco is extremely fast, and I can't wait till these drivers put on a battle. Obviously, I thought Ali K and J Thorne, you know, put on a great battle. You just saw Greco put on an even better one, and he may try it on Ali K. Dives it down into the final corner, runs it wide, but Ali K will maintain the lead, but it looks like he'll try and break away from the slipstream. He's not staying against the left side, but it looks like Greco will gain a lot of time down the straight. He won't pass in this lap, probably not next lap, but maybe within the next couple of laps, you will see Greco trying to pass Ali K. That is for the race lead, and I'm really surprised Greco has made a fantastic comeback, but bigger picture I'm going to look at. Obviously, there are more cars battling behind them. We keep missing. Yeah, people keep tweeting about, or tweeting saying I keep missing the battles going behind, though I'm looking behind. I think there's one battle going on wheel to wheel for 11th place and 12th to two teammates, LSD High and the Williams, and it looked like, I can't pronounce the other driver's name, but in the Super Softs on the Williams, LSD High under pressure. Here comes Nervo Tank to the inside, and he'll try to dive it down to the inside on the medium tires, and believe it or not, the Williams driver, he'll go for the crossover, makes, actually no, they would have made contact, but he goes through him multiple times, and he goes through his own teammate and takes the position over, so P11,
wow, they
really need to fix that, as dives down to the inside, Nervo Tank trying to get the position back, but as of right now, looks like Nervo Tank is trying to get ahead, and LSD High fell down two positions as Nervo Tank ran wide. This will be the chance for LSD High to recover on those soft tires. He's not going to give him much room, as wheel to wheel now backing off as LSD High. We'll check back with Ali K, as they should be on the main straight now. Yes, they are, and Greco is ready to attack as DRS is available again. And it looks like Greco will have enough time to do it. He'll dive it down to the inside against Ali K. Wheel to wheel, almost making contact. Greco hopping over the curb, does a little slide job. He takes the lead against Ali K. What a way to do it. It's not over yet, because now J-Thorne could be trying to pass Ali K. There could be a battle for second, maybe. J-Thorne trying to go to the inside, but he knows better of it. If they want to pass David Greco together, they have to work together, not pass each other. That will allow David Greco to go ahead, but right now that allowed, again, Greco's teammate to catch up, which is Nolly in 4th place. So now it is a 4-car train. I don't think it would really be a train, since Greco is probably going to pull away, as we do have some lap traffic ahead of us, though lap 16 out of 29. I'm really, really surprised that Greco has done a fantastic comeback, starting on the harder compound and coming back to take the lead of this thing. And I have a question for you. Do you think Ali K will be able to come back and take the lead from David Greco?
I really don't see it happening. That's nothing against Ali K, but it's just David Greco started much further on, further down, back down the field. He was on the harder compound tyre. He was on the soft tyres when everyone else was on the super softs. He's been able to catch up despite that. He's been doing effectively the same strategy. He is now effectively on the same strategy as everyone else, fitting on the medium tyres. They might be a lap or two younger, but the pace he's shown has been phenomenal this race, although Ali K has got DRS on David Greco, and he is actually catching up at quite a rapid rate towards the first corner. Is Ali K going to be able to make a move? And I'm amazed there was not contact there, but David Greco looks like he's going to hold off the lead. And
there is contact.
Yeah, Ali K forced off to the side of the track. Actually, Ali K is still potentially in a position where he could dive it up the inside if he wants to. And this is too close for comfort, but David Greco's been able to retain the race lead, so never mind what I was saying earlier on about Ali K being unlikely to be able to take the race lead. He's certainly proven there that he certainly can do, and of course, I mean, as I've said this several times during this evaluation race stream and the previous one, with this circuit, with the fact that there's 2 DRS straights, if you're within DRS range of the car in front and they don't have DRS, it is very easy to stick to the back of someone. Of course, sticking to the back of someone and getting past them is quite a different matter, but, well, there is certainly a 4-car train. I'm still not quite sure what's going on with Nally's strategy, considering he is on the soft tyres. I can only assume he'd have to stop again, but, well, that would kind of be suicide at this point to stop again, because I don't know. But to be fair, I don't know where down the order he would filter. He would filter up behind Alex. I should give a shout out to Alex, who obviously spun earlier on. He's had a nightmare of a race these past 10 or so laps. He's now up into 7th place. He's only 12.8 seconds behind the leader. He's behind the Force India driver of Pip Matt. So Alex, he's making his way back up towards the front. Difficult to say whether he's actually catching up on the leading bunch, but if the leading bunch are going to continue to battle as hard as they do, then actually Alex could well catch up to that, as Alex has been able to pass Pip Matt for 6th position. I thought Alex with the DRS swerving that aggressively down the start-finish straight, I thought they might have lost it then, and that would have been, well, the second time in this race, that would have just been a disaster. But Alex, he's up into 6th place. He is now, the gap between him and the leader, it says it's 13 seconds, I believe. So 13.2 seconds. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap. But Alex, he's, you know, it's a good damage limitation considering he was in 3rd place and span out, and he's just had to, well, he's just been making up ground ever since.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Jathan was not gone by LEK, because after that battle that him and Greco had, Jathan had a shot of trying to get him by down the street. He gained a lot of time, just backed out of it. And now the gap is massive as it's starting to increase between both 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd. And obviously that is not so good if you want to see some racing at the front, but obviously if you're on board with David Greco, you do have some lap traffic. That is a McLaren Honda we mentioned in the beginning that got a terrible start. Looking further back at the grid, I do see 3rd place as it looks like Ali K goes to the fastest lap, believe it or not. Down the straight he does have DRS. As his lap car trying to block David Greco. Holy cow. As they go through turn number 1. What was he thinking? I'm not sure. I think he tried to move out of the way when Greco tried to pass him. I think, wow, I'm really, really surprised. But now this has given all the opportunity back to Ali K to try and get back by Greco with 11 laps to go. And I'm really surprised I saw that. I don't think we'll ever see that again. But that, wow, I jumped out of my seat. What was your reaction?
Oh, well, I mean, I should point out, I mean, I'm not trying to drop names here, but Sultan30 was the driver on that occasion, but I don't think there's any malicious intent from him. I think the problem is that he swerved over to get out of the way quite late. I think it's just a case of both Sultan and David Greco, they both moved to the right-hand side at the same time, and yeah, I don't think there's anything malicious there, but certainly that could have been a much bigger, much more meaningful accident, because if David Greco got caught up in that more than he did, if damage was on potentially, then that could have really destroyed David Greco's race. But no harm done at the end of the day, although arguably Ali K's been able to catch up closer now to David Greco. The top 4 are still relatively close. Jay Fawn, I believe, should certainly still be within DRS range, so as long as the car's within DRS range, we should still see some close racing, or certainly cars in a close enough proximity to be able to think about making an overtake, as Ali K is going to line up a pass on David Greco potentially. In fact, Ali K looking at both wheels there, and they're side by side, and oh, this is reminiscent, we've seen this before, but David Greco, in fact, actually I think he slid slightly, but they're still side by side, and I think, dare I say it, Ali K is going to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. He's got the inside line, he's outbroken David Greco, he just needs a clean exit now from the 3rd corner, and still side by side, so close to contact. But it is allowing Jay Fawn to be able to catch up to the back of him. I should point out that Nally in 4th place has presumably pitted, but Ali K has retaken the lead of the Grand Prix. So this is certainly still a 3-horse battle for the lead. Jay Fawn right back in contention, and well, David Greco, he's got the DRS once again on Ali K. And well, I mean, what have we got? 10 more laps of this. This is, I don't know if my heart can take this much excitement, but well, certainly for the time being, we've still got Ali K from David Greco and Jay Fawn. Nally is in, he is now in 7th place, having pitted. He's now just behind Matty D in 6th place. So that means that Alex has now moved up to 4th place. But Alex a good, I can't see the timing gap now because, well, Alex is 12.2 seconds behind the leaders. So actually, of course, the leaders are battling intensely, but Alex, he's maintaining pace to the leaders at the moment.
Yes, looks like Greco picked up DRS again on lap 21, and he is going to be all over Ali K going through turn 2 and heading uphill. Though I do think next lap, I think Greco will be able to put the pass on Ali K, maybe even down the straight on this lap. I haven't seen much passes going on the back straight where they have another DRS zone. Really surprised we don't really see passes there, but then again, it's off a slow speed corner, so that's one of the reasons why. As Clay actually goes for the fastest lap, a 1:31.4, I believe. I'm not sure. Was it a 1:31.4? Maybe it was. I'm not exactly sure.
I believe so. I should point out he is on the soft tyres currently, so he has got the compound advantage compared to most people. Clay in 9th place, well, putting in the fastest lap. There's certainly kudos for that, even if he is on a softer compounded tyre. But yeah, Clay in 9th place. That's impressive.
Yep, and guess who's back into 4th place? It is the Mercedes man. Alex is back into 4th place. So he has done everything to try and recover. So Mercedes are running 3-4, while Greco is trying to gain back time lost on Ali K due to that lapped car. As now, I'm really curious to see if he'll be able to get him. Most likely he will. As his fuel mix goes to yellow, he puts it back into lean. From looking at the screen, I think he put it into lean. I saw him mess with the wheel, but off the final corner, I think he'll put it up to rich mix again down the straight as Ali K tries to break up the slipstream. DRS is available. However, J-Thorn is going to go to the inside, position for the taking. J-Thorn will try and dive it down to the inside. Late braking, double lockup. J-Thorn easily does it, but Greco may try and come back, as Greco thought he had this race won when he was pulling away from Ali K. Now he's back in 3rd because of that McLaren Honda, who apparently blocked him when about to being lapped. So with just maybe 5, 6, 7 laps to go, this race is not over yet. Now that J-Thorn is by, I could assume maybe Ali K could get caught by and maybe see a 3-car battle again, but I'm not exactly sure because now on Greco's plate, Greco's not only going to have to pass J-Thorn, but he's also going to have to pass Ali K. And that's a little bit of disastrous for him because he was able to do that pretty easily, but now Max Eagles goes for the fastest lap. So nice to see more drivers setting in faster laps. But another question here. Do you think Greco will be able to go back to the front of this race? Because he is actually falling off the pace from J-Thorn. And remember, I think he did pit a lot earlier than the front 2 runners.
Well, I mean, this just shows just how unpredictable this race has been. Because, well, for a time it looked like that David Greco was going to be out of contention for the lead of this race. Certainly, for a long part of the race, he caught up to the front much quicker than I had anticipated. And once he got into the lead, I thought he was going to be able to hold that position. Certainly, I did not anticipate him dropping down to 3rd place. 1.3 seconds behind the leader, 1.1 now behind the leader, Ali K. I will be surprised if Ali K leads the race for the remainder of the race uninterrupted. I'll be astounded because surely Jay Thorne or David Greco, they're going to. One of them's going to make a move as Nally just sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As Alan, your phone goes off, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to have to fix that. That is something to take note. It happened in the esports race too. I forgot to take it out of my room, so nice to know, and I can't answer it.
You're going to have to.
Yeah,
I love your choice of wording. That you said you have to fix your phone as if it shouldn't be ringing. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I sometimes try and put it on mute and it doesn't listen to me, so that's a little blooper there, so that's good.
Oh well, anyway, you haven't actually missed anything anyway while the phone's been going off, so may as well run through some of the lower positions. Alex is currently in 4th place. We got Pit Matt in the Force India in 5th place. Nally, who we just saw recently, set the fastest lap. In fact, Nally's on the super soft tyres. Right, so that means Nally's strategy, I believe, was super soft, soft, and now super soft. Okay, well that's certainly... It's certainly an interesting strategy. I'm not sure how that compares to the super soft medium, which is what most of the front runners have been running. But well, I mean, he's catching up to Pit Matt and oh no, that is actually a lapped car ahead. So he's catching up to Pit Matt. He's not too far ahead. So the battle for 5th place is certainly not over by a long shot with Pit Matt, I believe, on the medium tyres. Yes, so he's going to be on some warm medium tyres. Nally on some relatively brand new super soft tyres, and in fact Alex isn't too far ahead of Pit Matt either. So actually Nally we could see him, despite his alternate strategy, we could still see him retake 4th place from Alex. It's unlikely, but it is entirely possible at this rate. We've still got 5 laps left to go, I believe. 5 or 6 laps. Anyway, looking back up towards the front, we still got David Greco, who still hasn't really been able to catch up to the back of J-Thorn. In fact, J-Thorn incredibly close to Ali K. That Ali K's already had to go defensive down the back straight. In fact, that was weaved back in front of J-Thorn quite early then, but luckily the two cars were not that close together. So we've still got Ali K leading, J-Thorn in second, David Greco dropping back a bit in 3rd place, but certainly the battle for the lead is not over by any stretch of the imagination. J-Thorn, David Greco, Ali K, all 3 drivers equally likely, in my opinion, all of them equally likely to potentially win the Grand Prix.
Yes, I honestly do think J-Thorn will take the lead this time by down the straight. Coming to lap number 25, he has DRS. Ali K is going to try and go defensive. We'll see as he goes to the inside, back down to the outside will be J-Thorn on the outside. Double lockup. Is he going to try the crossover as Ali K runs it wide? He may try and angle it in there one more time. Headed up the hill. He'll have the momentum headed uphill as Ali K is going to go defensive one more time. He may try late braking on the outside. Maybe as he's going to go to the outside. Double lockup as he may try and get one more crossover, but Ali K hangs on, and this is allowing David Greco to catch back up, and this still puts him in a shot to win this Grand Prix. So obviously everything that's going on, Ali K just trying to hang on. He has a lot of pressure as J-Thorn is on the curb, runs wide, and we'll have to let David Greco by, but no. Rings it around the outside, loses all the time, and he just came back on Ali K. Must be very frustrating indeed, to say the least. As he hits the apex there, J-Thorn now is going to have to do everything it takes to win this Grand Prix. And obviously from seeing this performance, I think it's going to be most likely said that these top 3 drivers of Greco, J-Thorn, and Ali K will most likely be in the F1 tier next year. Because, I mean, J-Thorn and Ali K were in it last year, and if Greco can be even faster and maintain the pace, then obviously most likely he'll be in it. But, you know, stop talking about that. We do have a couple laps to go, and the gap has definitely increased between J-Thorn and Ali K. The gap, I believe now is, I think, 0.8 of a second. So obviously almost a full second is now Greco's going to be on the back end of J-Thorn. And like we mentioned, we do have some lap cars up in front of us. It's not the McLaren Honda driver. It's actually Philip is spinning in 19 all over the racetrack. Not sure what happened with Philip. But down the straight, J-Thorn and Greco maintain their positions. Philip is getting back going again, so he's not spinning anymore. But obviously with this dirty air in the way for Ali K, he's going to have to find some way to pass the driver in 17th place. I think that's a Sauber, or not Sauber. So 17th place, he's going to have to let him by as he does there. He's going to have to let all 3 by. As yes, he does. I thought he's going to squeeze between J-Thorn and Greco, but he does the right thing to do. Lets everyone by. And with a couple laps to go, I do think these 3 drivers, will be at it till the end of this thing. It'll be nail to nail, as I think they'll reel in Ali K together down the straight. Obviously, Greco will get the slipstream of J-Thorn, while J-Thorn will be trying to catch Ali K. And like we said, and like we saw before, I'm not surprised that he gained back the time he lost, because he has a lot of momentum carrying forward with just a couple laps to go. We're coming to 3 laps to go, if anyone is curious. So right now, I'm not surprised this is happening. But I do believe, if you're going to put a race pick right now, I'm going to say J-Thorn is going to win this thing. I think Greco's too far back, but you've seen the pace that J-Thorn has. He keeps reeling in Ali K towards the end of this thing. So I think J-Thorn really kicked up the pace towards the end, obviously locking up the final corner. I really think J-Thorn will win this Grand Prix. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, a race prediction. I honestly would put it on Ali K. He's been able to open up a slight gap on J-Thorn. Of course, that can still be temporary. But I think J-Thorn, for the time being, well, David Greco's closer to him than he is to Ali K. I would put my money on Ali K at the moment, but I mean, it's still an incredibly close battle. I wouldn't be surprised if J-Thorn won the Grand Prix. But at the same time, if David Greco, if he was able to make a pass on J-Thorn within, well, by the end of this lap, I wouldn't be too surprised if he was able to win the Grand Prix. But judging by the previous few laps, David Greco, I don't think he's really been in a position to be able to repass J-Thorn, so I don't personally see Greco winning the Grand Prix. Just to have a look further on down the field, Alex has actually lost a bit of time in compared to the leaders in 4th place. Pipmat is in 5th, but Nally, in fact, actually, Pipmat has caught up to Alex, and Nally's caught up to Pipmat, so it's actually quite a good battle for 4th place. Let's not forget that Nally in the Haas is on the super soft tyre, so he's got quite a distinct pace advantage compared to, well, certainly compared to Pipmat. I can only assume that Alex made a mistake, because last time we saw Alex was quite a way ahead of Pipmat. Of course, Nally catching up purely just due to the tyre compound he's on. But yeah, the battle for 4th place between, well, certainly the battle for 5th between Pipmat and Nally is going to be an exciting one, certainly with just a couple of laps left to go.
Nope, I've noticed every lap J-Thorn adds a 10th. He dents a 10th out of the gap between him and Ali K. I don't think it'll be enough now, but I still have my hopes on J-Thorn to win this thing. I do believe either Ali K will come under pressure, or maybe he'll just make one little mistake that'll cost him. But right now, like you just mentioned, there is a battle up for taking behind. Pitmat is in 6th place, trying to get by.
Yeah, I was able to see that was just going around the last corner.
Yeah.
Nally passed past Pitmat there, and he's now all over the back of Alex, so this could be another move in waiting. Or I mean, he's got, I was going to say plenty of time. He's got just under 2 laps, but I mean, Nally's got the tyre advantage, he's got DRS, he's got the slipstream, he can really just pass. I hate to say this, but I think he could just pass whenever he fancies, to be honest, because he's got all the advantages going for him. In fact, are ghosting, so hopefully... No, it looks like he isn't going to be able to make the pass through ghosting, but certainly that did help, as he's, well, in fact, hang on, he's ghosted again. Thankfully, no overtake was made, but he is still in 5th place, Alex in 6th, and actually Pitmat isn't too far behind, so we could still surprisingly see Pitmat make a place on either of the 2 drivers ahead of him.
Exactly, as we head to the final lap of today's Grand Prix, we cross the final corner, headed to 1 lap to go, and Ali K is really under pressure from J-Thorn, and it looks like he's gained up. It looks like half of the time is now split in half. Final lap, 4/10 of a difference. J-Thorn's going to have to go for it into turn 1. Not going to be enough. This will be down to the wire for this very last lap of the Grand Prix. Can Ali K hold on? Most likely so, but if he makes any mistake, that'll cost him. As I have seen league races here before, last lap passes, maybe, you know, bottling the lead, but I've seen that happen. It looks like Greco's way off the pace in 3rd, but that's not going to matter. J-Thorn has lost some time, but Sector 1, it really appears that J-Thorn gains some time, not only down the straight, but through the S section as we go through the hairpin and then up the hill in the turn 2. But J-Thorn now is going to be all over Ali K down this straight. Again, not sure if he'll be able to capitalize. I'm not sure how they stand on penalties as Ali K misses the apex. This allows J-Thorn to catch back up. But now, down the straight, losing some time is J-Thorn. I'm not exactly sure who has penalties and who doesn't. If I go with no one has a single penalty, so congrats to everyone. Just a bunch of warnings on the race director. So, final time, Ali K is going to hang on, as 2/10 have been lost between him and J-Thorn. Alex has been demoted to 5th, by the way, as Nally went through for 4th. Just a little update, but final corner, Ali K prevails in Sector 3. He's going to come out on top like we mentioned. Pole sitter is going to cross the line first out of 29 laps. Ali K takes victory in the Bahrain Grand Prix. A beautiful win for the Prancing Horses. 2nd is going to be J-Thorn. 3rd is David Greco. 4th is going to be Nally, as it looks like someone was disqualified. Didn't even use this. I'm not even sure if that's going to be a thing within 1.8. But it looks like Craig got disqualified. So did W11998, if that's the username. Somebody else got disqualified. Nally has been disqualified. So many people getting disqualified. It was a beautiful race till that finish. I'm not sure who else going to get disqualified. Clay has been disqualified. This is just tragic towards the end of this Grand Prix. Now this puts a lot of people into position to actually get points, like James. But crossing the line, I think Philip will cross the line in 15. It looks like Max Eagles has been disqualified. Looks like Philip is just slowing down across the line because he knows he'll probably get disqualified. Actually, he didn't, but someone else has been disqualified. That is, wow. I'm really surprised. Yeah, many people are getting disqualified as he crossed the line.
It seems to me, I'm not sure if this is true of everyone, but it seems to me that everybody who isn't on the medium tyres is getting disqualified. Nally we saw was on the
No, PQ Network got disqualified. He's on the medium tires.
Okay, but I know that Nally was on the super softs. He was disqualified. I think I saw Max Eagles, who's on the softs, who was disqualified.
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen Cheaperino actually spin across the line. It says he's in 10th place, but of course we've had a raft of disqualifications there. So yeah, really don't know what happened in those final few laps, but crucially we know, because the game didn't tamper with it, that Ali K won the 4th evaluation race here on the PS4 AOR League in Bahrain. So we've still got Ali K who won the Grand Prix, from Jay Thorne in 2nd and David Greco in 3rd.
Yeah. And now we see the podium celebrations with Greco, Jay Thorne, and Ali K, the virtual characters that they have. Beautiful that they added this on the game. We'll take a screenshot, probably put it on Twitter. But yeah, fantastic race. It's a little bit of a misfortune to see 7 people getting disqualified on the final lap, from Nolly down to the Finn, the Williams driver, Carl. I think this is Carl, right? Yep, Carl.
Colesberry.
Then Clay, Max Eagles, Kregels, and WRL 1989. I said 98. Sorry about that. 90 or 89. So a little bit of a misfortune to see that, but your finishing result will be Ali K, Jay Thornton, David Greco, Alex Pitmat, Nervo Tank, and that's all I have as the finishing result ends out there. Not sure if people want to have driver interviews. Up to the people in the comments. So if you want to see some driver interviews, comment down below very quickly before we actually end this. If we actually do end it. But we have 16 people. Why not do some interviews before we finish this thing out? But to the people that have raced, thank you for putting on a fantastic show today. Nobody is requesting interviews, so we may finish it off here. Nobody wants interviews. So
really?
That is perfectly fine. Yeah, nobody wants interviews. Oh, okay. Somebody wants me to interview Pitmat. So yeah, we can try and get Pitmat in here. We can also try and get Ali K in here. It's not the first time that I've talked to him, obviously, so I don't think it'll be that much of a problem. So actually, I think Ali K usually gets off right after the race, so we'll try and get him in here first after winning. Actually, I'm gonna suggest him, so you're gonna have to invite him. So invite Ali K first, then we'll do Pitmat.
Okay. Oh.
K and Greco in. One to 10.
I have just invited him. Come on.
How did you hold off Jay Thorne and David Greco?
I don't know, to be honest. The race was a lot of fun. It was so intense battling those two. They're both incredibly quick, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's nice to get back to league racing again. So it was a pretty fun race in the end.
What about you, Nathan? You have any questions?
I'll ask. Was there ever? I'm sure you got confidence in your abilities, but was there ever any time where you genuinely thought that you were going to lose the race? Because I mean, you had Jay Thorne, who was stuck with you pretty much the entire Grand Prix. David Greco, who took the lead at one point. Was there ever any time where you seriously doubted that you were going to win the Grand Prix?
Yeah, there were probably two occasions that happened. There was when we all came out of the pits on the mediums at the start of lap 11, and Greco's pace was just insane. He was so fast at the start of that stint, and then after he got past me, I made a mistake at the final corner, and he pulled the gap to just under a second, and then he got hit by a lapped car or something. Something weird happened in front of me, and that's why he dropped back a bit. I don't think he was very happy about that. He started weaving on the track at on the next straight. But yeah, it was probably those two occasions were the only time that I thought I was genuinely going to lose the race. But the rest of it, I felt, I don't want to say comfortable, but I always knew I had a pretty good opportunity to win.
So thank you very much, Ali K. Thank you for putting on a fantastic show, and congrats on the win. And I'll see you Thursday for the esports commentary. Speaking about that, tune in everybody on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday on AOR Fizzy's channel for respectively the Xbox, PC, and PS4 side. So thank you very much, Ali K, for putting on a great show. Next, we'll get Alex in the party. So thank you very much. Alex isn't even on, even though he wants an interview. So that's good. I can't even see the chat anymore because it's glitched out. So
Fantastic.
I was looking at it, and now it's glitched out. Alex said he wanted to interview. I was gonna invite Jay Thorne, and then use some profanity in response. So I don't think we'll get Jay Thorne in. I think that'll be it if Alex doesn't get back on. I mean, I know he's on my friends list, but I don't see him on. So if first of all, I'd love to see the chat again because. Hopefully that's the case. Does it work? Yeah, okay, it does. So I think that'll be it if we can't get Alex in. They want to see a Pit Matt interview. Okay, we'll invite Pit Matt even though he's on my friends list. I'm not sure how this is gonna happen. Let me look back and find his PSN so I can add him. That'd be recommended because I don't even know his PSN. It's something like that. So. Again, for the people in the chat, rate this race from 1 to 10. It's a fantastic race. I'm really, really satisfied with the race, besides people getting disqualified. Though, if you've enjoyed today's broadcast, please slap the like down below. And yes, this isn't even my channel, and I'm totally promoting it. And, okay, his PSN is just PetMat. Okay, that's convenient. So I'm going to have to quickly add him on PSN. Hopefully we can get one last interview in. I can't believe Alex said he wants an interview, then doesn't, get on. A little ironic. So I'm gonna go on Twitter, see if he's actually on there. But yeah, we invited Pit Matt to the party, so hopefully he can join. And hopefully he does join, because he does have a good fan base watching today's live stream. So obviously everything, again, fantastic race, and hopefully for next week's race, hopefully you see a lot more clean racing, but at the same time, a lot more racing going on. But yes, Pit Matt is in the party.
Hello.
A lot of people wanted to hear an interview from you. I think it was Cherry 2 Pie who wanted to see an interview from you.
Oh, right, okay, that's quite an interesting one. Okay, right, thank you for telling me that.
So, how did your race exactly go then, since we're doing some interviews here?
Okay, well, it wasn't the worst race by any stretch. Qualifying pretty disappointing, I'm not going to lie. I think I was P9 on the grid with 29.2. I mean, I have only done about an hour and a half practice before qualifying, so I wasn't expecting a great deal from this race. I was just going to hope for the best in quali and then go for it in the race. Qualifying, yeah, like I say, 29.2 wasn't the best of laps. A couple of lockups here or there, but yeah, I was in the top 10, so that was alright, I suppose. And then with the start where Nervo wasn't in the right place on the grid, that was right in front of me, so thankfully he parted like the Red Sea by taking someone out. I can't remember who it was on the left hand side, but that put me up to about 7th, and then I ran a bit too wide in the first corner, lost out a couple of places, and I just kept behind the train watching all the scraps in front of me, and it wasn't particularly bad. Whilst everyone was going for it, overtaking each other, I was just sat back there absolutely fine. And yeah, we managed to have great pace towards the end of the race compared to Alex. I don't know what was up with Alex there, whether he lost force feedback in his wheel or whatever, but yeah, he seemed a little bit slower than what he did in the, I would say, about lap 20 to about 23. He pulled about a half second or a second every lap. So I don't know what happened there, but very, very pleased with. Was it 5th place? I can't remember now. 5th place? Yeah.
Well, I mean that's an interesting one because I think it should have been 6th because I believe Nally got disqualified. So
was it? Oh right, okay, yeah. Because I saw that I was in 6th and I thought that something must have happened. But right, okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when you saw Nally was coming up behind you on those super soft tires, how hard did you try and defend the position? Because from where I was sitting, it looked pretty inevitable that he was going to get past you with those newer, quicker tires. So how aggressively did you try and defend the position?
Not particularly much at all. I obviously knew that I was on very warm mediums. He pitted for super softs very, very late on, so it was always going to be a struggle. So I played the tactical game. That if he was going up the inside in the last corner, which he did, I was a bit surprised he did do it in the last corner. I thought he'd wait down into turn 1, but no, he did it there. Absolutely fine move. And I thought, right, well, if he's doing that, then I'm going to pick up ERS from him and gain on Alex from that, because then he'll be the next attacker to Alex, and he can hopefully close the gap between me and Alex by doing that.
So yes, thank you very much for sharing your interpretation of the race.
No problem.
Very chaotic within the last stages of this Grand Prix, so thank you very much. And I think we'll tune... Yep, thank you. So we'll tune out today's live stream just the way like we did yesterday. And thank you everybody so much for watching. Obviously there's no evaluation race tomorrow, so you don't have to tune in, you don't have to listen to us commentate. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I'm A-Troll Cavi, or Alan Cavi, alongside PS Luton Rules, or Nathan, with Pit Matt. It's still in the party, and hopefully we can see you guys sometime in the future for commentating. For now, we will see you guys later. Peace.
Right.